He posted a job ad for farm workers until 5 alien widows came begging for shelter on his farm. The summer sun beat down on the weathered roof of Elias Carver's farmhouse. His field stretched wide and golden, the stalks of wheat swaying in a breeze that carried the smell of dust and harvest. He had been working the land alone for 3 long years since his father passed, and though the farm was fertile, the labor was backbreaking. That morning, Elias had taken a rare trip into the nearby town and pinned up a simple notice. Farm help wanted, room and board included, honest work, fair wages. He hoped a few down-on-their-luck drifters might show. He never expected 5 desperate figures to arrive by sundown, strangers at the gate. The creak of wagon wheels broke the quiet as Elias sat mending a fence. He looked up to see a small cart approaching, drawn not by horses, but by a strange 6-legged beast covered in pale fur. Atop the cart sat 5 women cloaked in dust-stained traveling robes, their faces hidden beneath hoods. The cart stopped at his gate. One of the women climbed down slowly, her movements weary but graceful. She pulled back her hood, revealing not a human face, but one marked by delicate ridges along her cheeks, skin tinted a faint shade of blue, and eyes that glowed softly in the twilight. Elias froze. Aliens weren't unheard of. Traders and travelers sometimes passed through, but rarely did they wander so far into rural farmland. The woman pressed her hands together in a gesture of respect. "Human farmer," she said in careful English, her voice low and musical. "We saw your notice. We beg shelter. We will work if you will have us." Her words trembled, as though each carried a weight of sorrow. Elias glanced past her. The others lifted their hoods in unison. They were all the same kind, similar ridges, shimmering eyes. Their gazes were filled with exhaustion and grief. The 5 widows. Elias leaned on the fence post. "You 5 are looking for work?" "On a farm." The leader lowered her eyes. "We are widows. Our mates died in the war. We were left with nothing but each other. The cities will not take us in. Men look upon us as spoils." Her voice cracked, and she swallowed before continuing. "We seek honest labor. Just a place to live, to survive." Her companions nodded, each face etched with quiet desperation. Elias felt his gut tighten. He had heard rumors. The galactic wars had left thousands of refugees stranded on Earth, most unwelcome. The townsfolk feared them, whispered that alien widows were cursed or dangerous. But standing here, Elias saw no threat, only 5 broken souls searching for a chance. He rubbed his jaw. "I asked for farm hands, not—" He stopped, seeing the fear in their eyes, the way their hands clutched one another's sleeves. "Well, maybe farm hands come in all shapes." The leader's eyes widened. "You mean you will take us?" "I've got more land than I can manage alone," Elias said. "If you're willing to work hard, you'll earn your keep, but I won't tolerate trouble." Tears shimmered in her alien eyes. She bowed her head. "We swear it." Learning the land. The days that followed tested them all. The widows, who introduced themselves as Lyra, Sova, Maine, Dirrell, and Kess, were enused to farm life. Their people had once been artisans and healers, not laborers. They fumbled with tools, burned their hands on hot metal, and tired quickly under the heavy sun. Yet Elias saw something remarkable. Each day, they returned to fields with stubborn determination. Their strange alien hands adapted. Lyra became deft at repairing irrigation pipes. Sova learned to guide the plowed beast with uncanny calm, and Maine discovered a gift for tending sickly crops with herbal remedies unknown to humans. At night, Elias heard them singing softly in their native tongue, a haunting melody that drifted from the barn where they slept. It was a song of mourning, but also of resilience. Slowly, his farm began to flourish in ways he hadn't thought possible. Whispers in town. Word spread quickly. When Elias brought his harvest wagon to market, whispers followed him. Did you hear? Carver's taking in alien widows. Madness. Everyone knows they're cursed. Or worse, they'll seduce him, then bleed him dry. Elias ignored them, though the stares cut deep. Business slowed. Some buyers refused to touch his grain, claiming it was tainted. One evening, a group of men rode up to his gate. They bore the swagger of those who carried more fear than sense. You're keeping him here? Their leader spat. Those alien women? They'll bring ruin on this whole valley. Elias squared his shoulders. They're under my roof, working my land. That makes them my responsibility. You got a problem with that? The men muttered threats, but left. Still, Elias knew the widow's presence had put a target on his farm. That night, Lyra approached him. We should go, she whispered. We have brought danger to you. Elias shook his head. This is my farm. No one chases away those under my care. Not while I've still got fight in me. A new family. Seasons turned. The farm grew richer than it ever had. The soil thriving under alien and human hands alike. Elias found himself laughing more. At first, the widows were shadows of sorrow, but gradually they bloomed again. Silva teased him about his stubborn human ways. Maine taught him alien remedies for aches, and Darrell carved small figurines of wood and bone that lined his porch rail. Kes, the youngest, once told him, We call you guardian of widows in our tongue. You gave us a home when we had none. For Elias, who had lived years in solitude, their words filled a hollow space he hadn't known how to mend. Fire in the night, but peace never lasts forever. One night, flames lit the horizon. Elias woke to shouts. The barn was ablaze. He rushed out to see shadows fleeing on horseback. The men from town. The widows scrambled to save the animals, hauling water in frantic buckets. Elias fought the fire until his lungs burned, but the barn collapsed in a shower of sparks. When the ashes cooled, half their livestock was gone. The widows stood weeping in the wreckage. Elias clenched his fists. They think they can scare us off. They don't know who they're dealing with. He rebuilt the barn with the widows' help. Together, they made it stronger, larger. The farm endured. And when the men returned, they found Elias waiting at the gate, shotgun in hand, flanked by 5 determined alien women. Years passed. The widows never remarried. Grief lingered, and their bond to their lost mates remained sacred. But they became more than workers to Elias. They were sisters, companions, family. The farm grew into a refuge. Other outcasts found their way there. Orphans, refugees, broken souls. Elias's land became known not just for its rich harvest, but as a place where no one was turned away. One evening, as the sun sank behind golden fields, Lyra stood beside Elias on the porch. When we came to your gate, she said softly, we were only seeking survival. But here we found life again. We found home. Elias smiled, gazing at the land he once struggled to hold alone. Now it thrived, not because of him, but because of them all together. Guess that old job notice worked better than I thought, he said. Lyra's eyes shimmered with quiet gratitude. No, Elias Carver. What saved us was not the notice. It was your heart. And in the cool evening air, with 5 widows and countless others by his side, Elias finally felt what he had been missing all along. He was no longer alone.